Hey guys, it's Marissa. So in today's video I am recording like a post-quarantine makeup transformation and kind of like a post-breakup glow up. So I actually spent like almost over $1,000 just on everything that I bought, and it was mainly because of like my hair extensions, and I've been wanting to do like a separate video on that just for anyone who is interested in getting extensions themselves, but if they're a little bit leery, just so I can tell you from my own experience so far. I've had these in for almost a month now, so if you've seen my previous videos, you have probably seen me in my extensions, but you probably thought it was a wig or something because I used to just wear a few like long extensions or wigs that were just like clip-ins before, so I don't think people realize on this channel just that they are real. Like, I have to keep them in, I can't get them out. But yeah, I really like how these look. I think that they look super real, and I just think that it was definitely like worth the money because I've been wanting it for so long. But like how I said, I want to do like a separate video on how I do my hair and like just the routine and everything and how I try to keep it clean, because it is a little bit different than just washing your hair normally, because you can't technically like touch your scalp completely. Like, you can't really scratch your scalp, or else you would scratch out the extensions and where they're actually, like, I don't want to say sewed in, but where they're placed. So yeah, that was one of the things that I got for this, and it was kind of expensive, like just because it is real hair and because of the length of it, how long it is. And so that was like one of the main things. I also did like a little new clothing haul, which I did a video on that previously. So if you are interested in all the other clothes that I bought, you can just click the description down below, or there should just be like a little tab up here where you can just look at all the linked videos as well. And I just really love Shein hauls. Like, I just think that they're so much fun, and they're honestly super cheap and affordable. I'm not even sponsored by them, but I will literally say that I just think it's like one of the best sites to go on for clothes, in my opinion. So that's why I go on there a lot, and I've done a couple of Shein hauls in the past on this channel. I've also been doing sun tanning and stuff, and I wanted to try something new since it's really hard for me to tan because I just have a very naturally pale skin tone. So I've been trying like the fox tan and stuff, and I'm really trying out the hype. So if you want to see my thoughts on that as well, then you can just keep on watching the video. But if you just want to see my overall thoughts on everything, then just keep on watching. So one of the first steps that I did for this transformation was actually trying on the fox tan stuff. So I had to put on the Rapid Elixir first, 3 days before any kind of UV exposure. It doesn't really say what would happen if you went out in the sun before then. It really doesn't say why or state why anywhere on the bottle, but I just kind of did as it recommended. And I also put on the Rapid Mist after when I was sun tanning, and I also got some of the sun tanning sealer as well as the hydration mist. And honestly, those last two that I just talked about, you don't really need those. Those are just optional if you want your tan to last longer. And honestly, in my opinion, they're not really worth the money, the last two things that I just said, because it really doesn't make a difference in how long your tan lasts, or at least in my opinion. Honestly, I love the fox tan. Like, it smells really good. It even works good. It's just like a nice hydrating lotion too, because I think it just works as like a tanning oil, but you do have to use sunscreen on top of it or else you would burn. And it does smell good. It smells like a nice banana smoothie, but it's very, very light. And then the hydration sealer that I just talked about, that really isn't worth the money. It smells kind of weird. It smells like mint toothpaste, and I don't know, it's not something that I'm really crazy of having my skin smell like. So, and on top of that, I just didn't really see a huge difference in my tan lasting as long. To get even more of an extreme tan, I used the Saint Moriz Professional Tanning Mousse, and I got the shade medium, and I just used that and applied it with a tanning glove from Ulta Beauty. So I just put some on, and I also used some lotion before just to make sure that there's no dark spots or anything on my kneecaps, because that's where I would normally put it so it's not as patchy. And then the next day I just took a light shower and rinsed everything off, so then if I did get wet, my skin wouldn't show any blotchy wet watermarks, because that would not be good. I also got a box of the 3D Crest white strips, and let me tell you, this is definitely worth the money. I could already see a difference within like the first time I tried on white strips. I always had like kind of a yellowish tint to my teeth just because I do drink coffee and teas occasionally. But as soon as I tried on like these strips, they worked really good and right away. Now, you can use this every day, but I actually just use it 3 times a week. But this definitely does work, and you don't even need to use the whole box to see like a change. So I really do recommend these, and they're definitely worth the hype. And once a month I always do this just so I can keep my skin nice and exfoliated and smooth. And I use the Freeman's Hawaiian Black Salt Peel Off Mask, and it's a really deep cleansing face mask. It really helps clean out your pores and just get any of those whiteheads or blackheads out. So I put that on and then I peeled it off afterwards. And for me, I always like seeing everything that came out from the mask in your pores. I just think it's kind of satisfying, but if you're grossed out by this, then you can just skip it. But yeah, this definitely does work, and it's less than $5, I'm pretty sure, from Ulta. I'll link everything that I'm using down in the description below. Next is my nails, and I do have pretty naturally long nails, but I did trim them with some clippers first because I don't want them to be too long with fake nails on. So I use a few protective coats just to really help my nails out from the glue so they don't get damaged or anything, and I honestly see a huge difference when I do this. So I'm first using the Sally Hansen Nail Growth Miracle Gel, and I'm just putting just a light coat over that. And then afterwards, I'm also using the Sally Hansen Strengthening Top Coat, which is also clear. And then I'm just putting that on top of that so then my nails can grow longer faster, and they also will not get flimsy or thin. They will just stay nice and healthy. I'm putting on the nail glue, which is the Ultra Quick Glue, and I really love this stuff. It's less than $2 and it honestly works really good. And it's by Nailene, and I'm just putting that on before I put on any of my Claire's press-ons. Honestly, Claire's is underrated for their nails. I think that they're really super cute, so that's where I got these cloud nails from. And then these nails usually last me about 2 weeks before 1 or 2 start falling off, but I can easily just reapply the glue without any damage just because of those top coats that I put on. And then before we get into the main makeup tutorial part, I'm going to be doing my hair. And I'm taking a wet brush and just brushing everything through first. And I don't want to give away my hair care routine all at once in this video just because I want to save it for a separate video because it's how I do my extensions. But I am using the Total Results Length Goals, which is the extensions Perfector, and it's just a really nice heat protectant, so I'm just putting that on first before I curl my extensions because my hair is actually naturally curly. In order to match it with the extensions, I gotta curl the extensions separately every time I take a shower. It's basically how I do my hair, but now let's get right into the makeup transformation. So as a base for my eye, I'm going to be using the CoverGirl Concealer Stick in the shade Neutralizer, and I'm just going to be using this on my eyelids and then just blending it out using my finger. So I want to use like the pink shades from the James Charles palette just because I really like the pigments and everything from here. Not only do I want to take some of the pink shades, but I also want to take some of the peachy shades as well. So I think I'm going to be dipping into this one right here as like my crease shade first. And I'm just going to be using the Morphe M321 brush for this. And the shade that I'm using is the shade Mary from the James Charles palette. Then using a Morphe M433 brush, I'm going to be taking the light pink shade and this really shimmery pink peach shade, and I'm just going to be blending those two together just so then I can blend where I put that darker crease shade, and I'm just going to really try to buff out everything as much as possible. And I will go back in with that darker peach shade just in case if I lose some of that pigment. Also, I do apologize if it starts to get kind of cloudy and then kind of bright in like my camera. Like it might get kind of dark in some of the clips, and that's just because the past couple days that I have been recording some of the videos, it's been kind of on and off raining and cloudy here in Michigan. So if it is like that for you guys in the video where you can notice that, that is why, so I do apologize for that. But the next thing that I'm going to be using is the Disney Frozen 2 palette, and I honestly really like these shades just because of how shimmery and pigmented they are. Like these three right here I always wear all the time, just like as like an everyday eyeshadow, and I just think that they're super pretty and natural, and I just really like the pink shades the best. So I'm going to be dipping into the shade Northern Lights and also Hurry, but I'm first going to be just dipping into Northern Lights first, and this is honestly one of my favorite eyeshadow shades like ever. I just think it's so pretty. So I'm just going to be using this with the e.l.f. concealer brush, and I'm just going to be kind of cutting like a crease. And I'm not going to use like a primer or anything. I'm just going to be using the eyeshadow itself just because of how pigmented it is. And I'm also going to use my finger as well just so I can really get most of that pigment on there. It's just like so pretty, and I feel like it also has some other shades in it as well. Like in certain lightings, it's kind of like a yellowish whitish hue to it too. And I sometimes wear this as like a highlight as well just because of how shimmery it is. Now I am going to be dipping into that shade Hurry. It's almost like a pressed glitter, like it's so pretty and I just really like it. It adds a lot more like of a dramatic effect to the overall eye look. So I'm just going to be applying this to the middle of my eye. Now I'm going to be using an eyeliner for everything, and I'm just going to be using the e.l.f. liquid liner in the shade Jet Black. And I'm just going to be creating a little wing with that. Because of how shimmery the eyeshadow is on like the eyelid of my eye, I'm actually going to be setting that eyeliner with the black matte shade just because it kind of makes the overall eyeliner look a little bit too shiny and I like it to look matte. So I'm just going to be taking a matte black eyeshadow shade with an e.l.f. precision brush, and then right after placing that eyeliner, I'm just going to go right on top of it, and that's okay if there's some fallout because I'm just going to clean it up afterwards. And to clean up everything, I'm just going to be using the Clinique makeup remover wipes, and this is really just going to help clean up any of that fallout, and I just think this is easy for me and for anyone that's kind of bad at doing eyeliner wings perfectly, and I just think it really helps sharpen the edges and outer corners of the eye. I know that I say this all the time whenever I do makeup tutorials, but it really does help a ton. So I just think this is kind of like a little life hack that I do all the time whenever I do eyeliner. So this is one side done, and then I'm just going to be repeating the same steps on the other eye. And then I'm just wiping down my face with it to make sure that none of that fallout from the eyeshadow or the black eyeshadow is on there, because then if I place any kind of concealer and stuff, it's just going to streak and then it's really going to be noticeable. Now I'm just going to be priming my face using the e.l.f. Putty Primer, and I really like this just because it really hides my pores. So I'm just going to be taking a little bit of this and just rubbing it all over my face and into my skin. Now I don't want too much coverage today, just a little bit underneath my eyes really. I'm going to be using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer, and this is in the shade Warm Light. And I have been breaking out a little bit, like mainly on my left side. I don't know if it's because I mainly sleep on this side, but I think it kind of has to do with the warm, hot weather, and whenever I wear one of those face masks now, like I just think it's really starting to bother my acne. I don't know about anyone else. So I'm going to really just focus underneath my eyes and where those acne spots are and just kind of cover them up. And I'm just going to blend everything out using a Real Techniques Beauty Complexion Sponge. And then for that extra coverage under my eyes, like how I said, I'm just going to be using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fairest. And I'm not going to add too much of this because this concealer is very thick. And I usually normally use this as like my eyeshadow base just because of how thick it is. But I'm not going to today. I'm just going to be using it as my under eye concealer. Now to set everything that I just placed, I'm going to be using the Airspun Loose Face Powder in the shade Naturally Neutral. And I'm definitely going to bake a little bit under my eyes as well for this because of how much concealer I placed. To bronze and contour my face, I'm going to be using the Butter Bronzer in the shade 6676, and I'm just going to be using an Ulta Beauty blush brush, and I'm kind of just going to heavily contour my face with this powder and then afterwards really blend it into my skin. That's just the technique that I'm comfortable using with powders, just because if I use any kind of like oily foundation like contour, which I don't use often, but whenever I do, it's just very oily. It makes me break out a little bit easier, so that's why I usually stick to powders. Now as a blush, I'm going to be going back in with this Frozen 2 Elsa palette, and I'm going to be taking the shade Fire, and it's like this really pretty nude pink shade, and I'm just going to be tapping that on lightly because it's very pigmented, but I really love this shade, and I just think that it would really complement the eyeshadow colors that I have on right now. Now to set everything into my skin, I'm going to be using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and I'm just going to spray this on my face and blend everything in using that same Real Techniques Beauty Blender. To fill in my brows, I'm going to be using the James Charles palette, and I'm going to be taking the shades Tea and Benny and using the e.l.f. angled brush. I'm just going to be lightly filling in my brows just because they're naturally dark and thick anyways, but I'm really just going to try to fill them in where the lines are, mainly like up above where like the arc is. It really doesn't take me that long to fill them in, just like how I said, because they're naturally kind of thick anyways. I'm going to be taking that original crease shade like how I used from the very beginning of my eye look. I'm just going to be adding that to my lower lash line using an e.l.f. concealer brush. Then for my inner corner and brow bone highlight, I'm going to be taking the Kylie Jenner Crest Illuminating Powder in the shade Ice Me Out. And then taking a Morphe M330 brush, I'm just going to be applying that same highlight to my face and just adding this as an overall face highlight. And now to really cover up any of that acne left over, because I didn't want to use any kind of like oily foundation on it, I'm just going to be taking this concealer stick right here, and I'm just going to be applying it on top of there. I don't know why, but on camera it appears much darker, but it's really not that dark in real life, and it's not even like really an acne spot anymore. It's more like just like a dry scar at the moment, so it's still healing, but I don't know why, but once in a while I do get just like acne right there, and it's always so bad. It's really annoying. So I'm just gonna go over it a little bit, try to make it not as noticeable and more matte. Now the last and final steps, I'm just gonna be using mascara. So I'm first gonna be using the Ulta Beauty Maximum Lashes Mascara in the shade Jet Black. Then to really spread apart the lashes even more, I'm just going to be taking the Clinique High Impact Mascara in the shade Black and applying that to my top and lower lashes. Now to finish off the overall makeup look, I'm just going to be adding this matte lipstick, which is this pink matte liquid lipstick, and I'm just going to be applying that first before I add on the topper. And then as this dries, I am going to be using my own lip gloss for this as the topper. I'm actually using my own makeup brand and creating it from scratch just to help me with my college tuition and funds. So I will just be linking my little lip gloss business down below if you are interested. But I'm just going to be using the Glossiful Beauty Pearlescent Butterfly Lip Gloss. This is honestly one of my most favorite ones, like out of the 3 that I've made so far. There's 3 different ones. There's a total of 6, but like they're the same kind of thing. Like one of them's like with butterfly glitter in it for looks, and then one of them is without it, just in case if you didn't want the butterfly glitter in it, because it is a little bit more girly, but it's still super pretty, and I just really love this. And this one does not have a scent to it. This one is vegan, so it's really nice that this one's vegan, gluten-free, and cruelty-free. And I'll just link everything down below, so if you are interested in the other lip glosses, you can just go check that out. So basically, this is the completed look. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's post quarantine post-breakup video. I don't really know what to call this, but I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've just been wanting like a change and stuff in the way like my hair is and just like my overall style. I've just been needing like a whole new wardrobe change as well, just because I don't know, I just wanted something new and different, especially from just being in the house like all the time because of this coronavirus stuff going on. I just wanted something new, and I just thought that this would be like a nice way to like kind of treat myself and just do something fun that I like to do. So if you're interested to see more videos from me in the future, I upload every Wednesday and Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can always just leave a comment down below asking or requesting what you would like to see from me next, or what kind of makeup tutorial you would also like to see, and I'll just see you guys next time. Bye!